Hey guys, Phil/Polygon here. Welcome to the first installment in an exploration of dual wielding, which sounds so very much more official than it actually is. But I'm hoping this is the first video in a series that takes a look at a lot of the new dual wielding and power stance mechanics available in Dark Souls 2. I gotta say, out of the gate, man, I think this is probably the coolest new thing that has been introduced into the franchise since Poise, moving from Demon Souls to Dark Souls. It is pretty slick. But it's still pretty new. There's still a little bit of fog around it in terms of the details and the technicalities and nuances and tips and tricks and all that kind of fun stuff. And also just how to enter the power stance. What is the power stance? So this being the first one, we're going to cover the absolute basics. What are the stat requirements to do this power stancing thing? I wish it had a different name other than the power stance. That is about as cheesy as it comes. Quick little aside there. And then we'll get a little bit into weapon combinations and a couple of early tips and stuff like that. But I'm hoping to continue this series just as we, the community, continue to explore and discover new things and work it out. So here we go. We'll kick it off with a quick little semantic distinction. So there's two things we're going to be talking about in this video at least. There's dual wielding, which is anybody can do that. You just put a weapon in your right hand, you put a weapon in your left hand, and voila, you're dual wielding. You got the full moveset on the right, full moveset on the left. You can two-hand either weapon. Some really nice combinations, great stun locking potential, high damage. It's great. Nothing really special about that. The other thing we're going to talk about is the power stance, which is a special move set that if you meet the stat requirements you can drop into that allows you to attack with both weapons simultaneously. So for example purposes, we're just kind of rolling with stock weapons, some early game and starter stuff, broadsword in the right, battle axe in the left. I'm just kind of demonstrating the fully realized move sets. Pretty cool. I mentioned stat requirements for this power stance just a second ago, so let's talk stats. Here's a quick breakdown of my build thus far. It's going to be a strength build, so I've sunk a ton of points into strength. 35 strength is totally overkill for this example, but that's what I got. And I invested a couple points in dex as well to bring it up to 8. So 35 and 8, strength and dex, are the two stats we are concerned with. Those stats meet the requirements for me to drop into this power stance, where I'm attacking with both the axe and the mace at the same time. Big damage output, big stamina drain too, be careful about that. And you do this instead of two-handing your offhand weapon. I'm just toggling with that triangle or Y on the Xbox. Doesn't he look powerful indeed? The way he just cocks his weapon just so. Power stance. So what are the stats? Let's take a look at the weapons. So I've got my mace, requires 12 strength, 5 dex. The axe requires 15 strength, 5 dex. And the way that it breaks down is in order to enter the power stance, you need to have 1.5 strength and 1.5 times the dex requirements of each weapon you're currently rocking. So that's confusing as hell to say out loud. Here's a little breakdown. Bully. So we've got our mace, we've got our axe, and I spec'd out the 1.5 requirements for strength and dex on each of them just to sort of demonstrate that we do have to take both weapons into account. In this case, the axe is the higher of the two. We need 23 strength to enter the power stance and 8 dex to enter the power stance, and I'm really going to try to stop saying power stance so much because it is cheesy. We got those numbers, of course, by taking our base strength of 15, multiplying it by 1.5 for 22.5. Of course, Souls games do not give you an inch in anything, so we have to round up to 23. Same thing with dex. We take our 5 base times 1.5, round it up to 8, and there we are. We need 23 and 8 to enter the power stance with these two weapons. And I will say this is probably the most practical and exciting application of math I have ever found. So now here's our same character trying to enter the power stance. There's another one. With the broadsword and the battle axe, and alas, he just can't do it. Look at him. He's trying so hard. Why not? Well, using that same application of math, it's because we do not meet the minimum dex requirement for power stancing. I'm just going to start hitting those extra hard. For power stancing with the broadsword, we need one more point in dex that we do not have, so we cannot do it. This is actually kind of an interesting example too because it shows that you have to take both weapons into account. The broadsword has the higher dex requirement for power stancing, and the axe has the higher strength requirement. So this lends to reason that it would be pretty difficult to power stance, I just can't avoid them, with a really, really dex-intensive weapon and a really, really strength-intensive weapon. Just something to watch out for. So stat-wise, that is pretty much it. That puts you on the trolley. 1.5 strength, 1.5 dex. You can go out there and power stance with the best of them. There are a couple caveats. The weapons have to be relatively the same weight class. You can't do a great hammer and a dagger, for example, and some weapons just don't work, like the bow. At least from what I've discovered, a bow and an axe won't work. Also worthy of note, you do lose the ability to two-hand that offhand weapon. So to keep versatility high, something I do at least, is just roll around with a bare fist as one of my weapon slots so that you can still grab that offhand with two hands. This battle axe, the left to right slashes, I absolutely love. Great for crowd control, taking on the god knows how many mobs in this game, or just carry around some other weapon that you don't meet the power stancing requirements for, so you can still grab that offhand weapon with both fists. So I think I'm going to call this one there. Definitely hit me up with any kind of feedback or comments, or if you've discovered something super cool, let me know about it. I'll keep putting these things out there as the community discover new stuff. I will kill it with a little pumped up, stupid gesture, and be on my merry way. See you next time.